Hello, folks. Today we're doing lesson 121. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. There's here somebody's is not muted. Maybe Mike. Mike, are you not muted?
Let me see.
I hear like a background, and then only you're not muted.
Okay, let me see something here.
I muted you. Okay. All right, here we go. Lesson 121. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. It's 13 paragraphs. We're going to do 2 at a time, and we're going to try to do this in under an hour. So by 8:12, let's say. And 13 paragraphs, 2 at a time. And here I go. I'll do the first 2. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Here's the answer to your search for peace. Here's the key to meaning in a world that seems to make no sense. Here's the way to safety in apparent dangers that appear to threaten you at every turn and bring uncertainty to all your hopes of ever finding quietness and peace. Here are all questions answered. Here, the end of all uncertainty ensured at last. Paragraph 2. The unforgiving mind is full of fear and offers love no room to be itself, no place where it can spread its wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. The unforgiving mind is sad, without the hope of respite and release from pain. It suffers and abides in misery, peering about in darkness, seeing not, yet certain of the danger lurking there. Okay, there's the forgiving mind, there's the unforgiving mind. Here it says a forgiving mind is the way to happiness and peace. How do you achieve happiness and peace? You have to leave level 2. You have to leave duality, where the ego reigns supreme, where this judgment-centric, fear-based mindset reigns supreme. And a doorway to go from level 2 to level 1 is the act of forgiveness. And so if you want peace, if you want joy, if you want happiness, this lesson is asking you to forgive and not to hold on to those judgments. Any comments or questions about paragraph 1 and 2? Well, paragraph 2, the unforgiving mind is full of fear. So if your mind is full of fear, if you have turmoil, that's second part of sentence number 1. The unforgiving mind is sad, if you're sad, without hope, in pain. If you're suffering or in misery, and if you're in darkness, then as you see danger lurking everywhere, guess what? You're viewing the world through the unforgiving mind. And so if you're experiencing hell, that's because you're choosing to see through the unforgiving mind. You're choosing to see through the world through the ego's lens. You're choosing some form of judgment as more valuable than forgiveness. And what does that create? It creates a hellish mindset. It creates the darkness and the misery and the pain and the suffering. So you have a choice in every moment to forgive or not to forgive. That is the question. That is the real question. If you forgive, you'll have peace and happiness. If you choose not to forgive, that's perfectly fine. But enjoy the darkness and the pain. All right, any questions or comments on paragraph 1 and 2?
Only on the fact that you're bastardizing Shakespeare. As an English professor, I object. I'm just kidding. It's funny.
That's where you have to practice using the forgiving mind, Wendy.
You are forgiven, James. But I do want to know why you were laughing when you were saying if people are suffering and they feel like they're in hell. Why is that funny?
It's funny because they're just a choice away from heaven, but they just choose hell, and they just play around in the mud, like Mike always says. You play around in the mud with other little piggies, but the other little piggies like it, and somewhere inside of you, you know you don't belong in the mud, But if you want to play in the mud, hey, it's your choice. It's called free will. So you can live heaven on earth or you can live hell on earth. It's your choice. Those who choose hell, most of them are unaware that they actually have a choice. But those who know that you do have a choice, then your job is to help them see that there is a better way. And so that's why you have to forgive, no matter if they forgive or not, because you know there's another way. You know there's a way to peace. There's a way to joy. And God put you in the situation for you to be the first to forgive. Now, I'm not saying be a doormat. I'm not saying that if the guy or the girl is being abusive to hang around. But what I am saying is that usually you should be the first to forgive so that you can have peace and joy, so that you can fulfill your function as the light of the world. Any comments or questions? Paragraph 1 and 2.
I just want to know if it bodes poorly for me that I hate the fact that you're right.
Well, there's good news there. Is that you don't hate that I'm right. Your ego hates that I'm right, and you're not your ego. So the truth in you likes to hear what's true. And so the true in you is unconsciously rejoicing. It is the ego in you who is challenged by oneness because it lives in duality, and the only way that it survives is through duality. And so it gets a little challenged by the truth.
I think sometimes I just feel like I'm being a doormat if I forgive certain things.
Right.
If the person is not upset at all that they're, causing these issues, that's what makes it difficult for me.
Well,
You
that's what. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
The course says that you forgive your brother for what he did not do. Okay, your brother may have made a mistake, and what he did not do is make us angry. We made a choice to get angry because our brother made a mistake. Forgiveness is about forgiving ourselves that anger, forgiving ourselves for being angry, forgiving ourselves for being resentful. And that is what allows us to let that anger or that resentment fade into the past. It's not like what somebody does is okay. If any of us that makes a choice out of fear, out of anger, out of hate is making a mistake. It's not okay. All right. Forgiveness is about forgiving ourselves. Forgiving what he did not do. What he did not do is make our decision to be upset, to be angry, to be resentful about that. That's what we forgive, so we can let that anger, that resentment recede into the past. And it has nothing to do with condoning behavior. You can be forgiving and say, no, that cannot be allowed to go on. That's got to be stopped. I know you don't like those extreme examples, but if you see somebody with a assault rifle headed for a middle school, forgiveness does not mean, oh, that's okay. It's not okay. And what we do is we do whatever, we're here only to be truly helpful. What's helpful? What helpful might be to call the police and try to stop it. What we forgive is we're not going to live our life in resentment and anger because something bad happened in the world. We're going to forgive ourselves, take whatever action is helpful, and allow that resentment, that anger, to fade into the past.
And my experience with this has also been like, I've been on both ends of the spectrum where I had a shift in perception in a later point in time, and something that I couldn't see, I was then able to see from a different light. And so also like the story is still being written if we're still alive, and the other person that we're resenting or that we just can't accept what was done is still alive. Like for all we know, in the future there will be a shift for them and they will see things differently. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Only God knows, how things are going to unfold. And I know that I've done things in my life and then didn't think I was doing anything wrong, and then experienced that shift and had felt a lot of shame and guilt and remorse and made amends for my wrongs. And then I've also had people where they too have wronged me and then didn't see it in the moment and came around at some point and were like, I was really wrong about that, but it took them time. And sometimes it was a few years, sometimes it was a few months. Like, and who knows, maybe sometimes someone will never experience that shift. And I'm also thinking about a friend of mine that works actually at a federal prison, and he's exposed to a lot of different things being in that environment. And it's interesting because he definitely shares stories about people that have completely changed, being in those environments regardless of what they've done, where they recognize their wrongs, and whether or not they get out, like I don't know those details, but I do, like, I think it's believing and trusting that like everyone's going to have their journey. Hopefully people see the light and are able to make a change and do good, but it's not up to us, but we don't know. So I think that those are like question marks that we have to just sit back and observe. Sometimes we can't just like make a judgment. I think our egos want to do that, or at least my ego does. But the longer I'm on this path, the more that I'm like, I really don't know. And I'm always pleasantly surprised how like things kind of change, in time. That's it.
Thank you.
I was gonna say something about forgiveness.
Go ahead.
I feel like I'm on this journey with one person in particular. It's a family member, not my mom, but having to forgive constantly, and it's exhausting. And sometimes it's easier, and I wish it was more permanent. And I have been able to forgive people permanently. Like it's just, oh, it's my brother. I'll just whatever. He and it's like I don't even know how to explain it. Action after action that's just hard to forgive. I have to say, I think I've mentioned it before. He is my greatest lesson in terms of loving someone. The hardest person I've ever had to love. And it's frustrating. I do work on forgiving like all the time. It just seems like it doesn't get too much easier.
Yvonne, I think we're twins.
It's important to acknowledge our place in the path. If we're not ready to forgive, completely or something, if we're ready to take steps along that way, to congratulate ourselves that, at least I'm willing to go this far, and in the future I may be able to go a little bit further. But it's important to give ourselves the credit for whatever it is we're ready for right now.
Thank you, Mike. I think that's part of the problem is I agree with Yvonne. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to constantly be trying to, force this. It is in some cases it's force. I need to forget, to let this go. I need to, and your mind is just like not wanting to do it, and it feels exhausting. It really does, especially if it's the same person, and there's no reciprocity of attempts at compassion or doing better. You know what I'm saying? Like at times it's hard. It's really hard. But a lot of times in the group, like James or whoever's talking, they make it sound so easy. They're like, you're just a choice away, you're just a thought away. You're like, yeah, it doesn't feel like that. doesn't feel like I can just go, okay. It feels more like, fighting a little battle up there.
Like a
We
roller
do.
coaster. A lot of times for me, it's like a roller coaster. It's like, okay, I'm going to forgive. All right, this feels great. And then the next thing happens, and then you're just back up there. And I try to look at it from the lens of, what this person needs love, is a call for love, and sometimes that works. But other times it doesn't. And
Well,
so, yeah.
yeah, we don't need to figure that out. Trying to figure that out is our egos trying to, be the Holy Spirit. Like James a lot of times says, God, forgive for me. All we need to know is that that's what we really want. We don't want it completely right now because we're confused and we're letting the ego's thoughts, but you go to whatever degree you're able to go right now. And it's important to recognize that I'm not able to be completely forgiving at this time. God, take this for me. HS, take this for me.
That helped me a lot to be able to say, if I can't get there, that was one of the biggest, most helpful things. I don't know if you have a chapter in there, James, on this, but using, I don't know if it's a bypass or whatever it is, just getting the help where you say, I have the willingness to ask for you to do this for me because I clearly cannot do this myself right now. At least you're like, it shows a little effort, if I can't get there, it still shows a little effort. That does make me feel better when I do it that way.
Yeah, and when you're dragging, when you're not in the now, then it becomes harder to forgive because there's only the now in reality. It's only when we are buying into duality and we're dragging the past onto the now that we find this heaviness and hardness to forgive. But if only the now exists, the Course of Miracles says the past is gone and can hurt me not. If you believe that and you can return to the now, then in the now, that's where the simple choice is. In the now, can I forgive? In the now. Yes, very easily. But if I go through the ego's lens and drag the whole past 3 decades onto the now, and then I cover over the now, and I'm just spending the now reliving the past 3 decades, then yeah, it's going to be hard for me to forgive. But that's simply because you're stuck in a duality. You're stuck in the ego's mindset. And that's why it's hard for you to forgive. Instead of saying, you know what? Only the now exists. In the now, I was created to be the light of the world. How can I be the light of the world in this moment? I'll go ahead and forgive. And that's what I do. And that works. And that's what I recommend. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. All right, let's go to 3 and 4. Would somebody like to read 3 and 4?
I thought you were reading out of your book. Where are we? I never even got a page.
Oh, no, we're reading a lesson that we're in the Course of Miracles.
Okay, where?
Lesson
I'm too busy
121.
trying to help people with your link. I didn't even hear it. Where?
Lesson 121.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Paragraph 3 right now. All right, I'll go ahead and read, I guess. Here we go. Paragraph 3. The unforgiving mind is torn with doubt, confused about itself and all it sees, afraid and angry, weak and blustering, afraid to go ahead, afraid to stay, afraid to awaken, afraid to go to sleep, afraid of every sound, yet more afraid of stillness, terrified of the dark, yet more terrified of the approaching light. What can the unforgiving mind perceive but its damnation? What can it behold except the proof that all its sins are real? Paragraph 4. The unforgiving mind sees no mistakes, only sins. It looks upon the world with sightless eyes and shrieks as it beholds its own projections rising to attack its miserable parody of life. Enjoyable. It wants to live, yet wishes it were dead. It wants forgiveness, yet it sees no hope. It wants escape, yet can't conceive of none because it sees the sinful everywhere. Enjoy the unforgiving mind, my friends. And so when you
One
think
of
it's
those cheery paragraphs.
yeah, when you're saying to yourself, man, it's really hard for me to forgive my brother in this moment. Guess what? Guess what's really hard? All the stuff we just read. Keeping that judgmental thought.
So
Staying yeah, go ahead.
so it's saying that I every time I'm not forgiving, I see him as he's sinning, as he's doing something sinful. So I judge him and therefore I don't forgive him.
You judge him, and therefore you don't have peace or joy. And you're seeing the sin, the quote unquote sin. You're seeing the past. And you're dragging the past onto the present moment.
Wow. The present moment sometimes is very unpleasant too. So
It's only unpleasant if you drag the past into the present moment. If you see the present moment as it truly is, then only love resides within it, only forgiveness, only compassion, only mercy, only grace. That's all that resides within the present moment. If you're judgmental, resentful, hateful, then that just means that you're dragging the past onto the now. And thus you're not experiencing the present moment. The present moment, you can only see it through God's eyes. If you're not seeing it through God's eyes, you're not in the present moment. You're simply dragging the past onto the now. And you'll never have peace, true peace of mind, or true joy as long as you drag the past onto the now.
okay. No.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, the Holy Spirit teaches through contrast and comparison. This is one of those dark paragraphs that it's intent to make us look at it. And yeah, when I get caught up in fear, this gives it a very extreme expression. But you think about it, when I get caught up in fear, I am to some degree into that.
Yeah, when you get caught up in fear, you're stuck in the past, dragging the past onto the now. And then the Course in Miracles says, if you drag the past onto the now, you create a future like your past. And so you never truly experience the present moment. The present moment is God's eternal gift to you. It is freed from past judgments, and it is freed from future imagination. The present moment simply is. The present moment is, when seen through love's eyes, peace and joy result. And so if you're not at peace, if you're having difficulty forgiving, then you're not in the present moment. You're simply seeing the world through the ego's lens and mindset. Any other comments or questions for 3 and 4? Paragraph 4, sentence 1. The unforgiving mind sees only sins. It sees only duality. It sees only the ego's world. It sees only through the ego's lens. And when it sees through the ego's lens, it shrieks as it beholds its own projections rising to attack its miserable parody of life. And so in every moment, you have a choice. See through the ego's lens or through God's lens. One of the expressions of seeing through God's lens is forgiveness. One of the expressions of seeing through the ego's lens is judgment. Would somebody like to read paragraph 5 and 6? Unless there's other comments or questions?
I'll read it.
All right.
The unforgiving mind is in despair without the prospect of a future which can offer anything but more despair. Yet it regards its judgment of the world as irreversible and does not see it has condemned itself to this despair. It thinks it cannot change, for what it sees bears witness that its judgment is correct. It does not ask because it thinks it knows. It does not question, certain it is right. Forgiveness is acquired. It is not inherent in the mind, which cannot sin. As sin is an idea you taught yourself, forgiveness must be learned by you as well, but from a teacher other than yourself who represents the other self in you. Through him, you learn how to forgive the self you think you made and let it disappear. Thus, you return your mind as one to him who is yourself and who can never sin.
All right. Paragraph 6, sentence 3. Sin is an idea you taught yourself. Okay, so you've been programmed to see the world through the ego's lens. And you've seen other people do this over and over again. And so they simply modeled to you a behavior that does not bring to you happiness and peace. And because everybody was acting in that way, or most everybody was acting in that way, you thought that, you know what, maybe this is the way I should act and react. Maybe I should judge my brother instead of forgive them. Maybe I should condemn instead of have compassion. And so this idea of sin, this judgment you carry that blocks you from peace, from having true peace and true joy, is simply a choice you make in each and every moment. And so you have to make a decision in each and every moment. Ask yourself this: am I worthy of peace? Am I worthy of peace?
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course, yes, I am. And I was given 2 opportunities. I'm here. I just woke up. No, I was in another call. I was another call. I just was given a couple of opportunities to practice my forgiveness. One of them, I was in AT&T with an issue of a phone. My daughter's phone was crossing messages with my phone and her father. And oh my God. Well, when I go there, the guy says, but I think you should guys go to T-Mobile. And I said, but can we stay a few minutes more here? He goes like, yep. But I sense his resistance, like you guys are trying to solve issues that it's from T-Mobile in AT&T. But I have 2 of the cell phones with AT&T. And anyway, the thing is, it's an Apple ID that it's being shared between 3 phones and it needs to be disconnected, etc. I was like, myself becoming a little bit irritable. I left the place. On my way, I was thinking, I need to release that, because in a conversation, if I have my loved ones, I'm going to be like myself, sensing that. Probably I will be, doing some judgment about it. Then I am on the phone with someone that is sick and feels like this is the victim and it's complaining, this and that. And I go like, but, you are someone that has some kidney issue. You are not sick because I'm sick because I feel bad, because I was like myself becoming a little bit irritable again, because she was seeing herself as a victim and not as her name Maria with a kidney problem. I was trying to tell her that. And it was like, oh, but you know what? I fell the other day. I fell so much and it hurt my leg and I got so much pain. Always giving me, I say every time that I talk to you, every time, I hope one day you will say, Isabel, you know what? I'm feeling good today. I have an issue with my kidney still going on, but I'm feeling good. Trying to separate, the issue of her leg with the issue of the whole mind and the body. So I felt myself angry about it because she's not seeing herself separate from the pain, which is in the body, and her mind is fine. So then I go like, okay, I have to forgive this because again, if I stay, if I don't check it, if I don't identify what's in my mind, it's affecting my emotions. So where I see this opportunity to forgive, opportunity for me to release, to see it, and to accept just the way they are. I can give my advice, but I cannot change my energy. I shouldn't do that, because I could be affecting someone that's close to me. I will stay like that. And if I pick up another call, maybe I'm in that level of energy. So I was like, oh, this couple of things right in half an hour, I can see how, I could be a little bit hyped in that aspect. So thank you. Yes, you have to be forgiving at many, many times during the day. The more we check, if I know too, maybe more. Yeah.
I gotta go. Great seeing everybody today.
All right, brother,
Mike.
thank you.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
Okay, so paragraph 6, sentence number 1, forgiveness is acquired. Okay. Course in Miracles says forgiveness is the last illusion. And the Course in Miracles says that God never forgives because he has never condemned. Okay? So in the present moment, yes, forgiveness is a doorway to peace. But in reality, if you want to truly be in the present moment, if you want to truly think in alignment with the mind of God, your brother or sister doesn't need to be forgiven. Their journey is perfect exactly as it is. What you have to forgive your misperception of who your brother is.
Exactly.
You're defining your brother through the past. You're not seeing your brother as God created him. And so you have one simple job in each and every moment. See your brother only as God sees him. Do you want the true peace and joy of God? Then see your brother and sister only as God sees them. And you only have to do it in the now, in the present moment. And all you have to do is remind yourself, I am worthy of peace and joy. Therefore, I'm going to forgive my misperception of my brother and sister. And by doing so, I'm going to free myself from my own delusions, from the weight of my own judgments. I'm going to put the weight of my own judgments down. I'm going to be free. And I'm going to be at peace, and I'm going to be at joy, and I'm going to be a greater and greater light in this world. And I'm going to feel fulfilled because I will be doing what God created me to do, to be the light of the world in each and every moment and in each and every interaction. And my brother and sister, in reality, they're helping me practice that. So if I can realize that they, in reality, in each and every moment, are helping me practice, align my mind with the mind of God, and thus become the light of the world that God created me to be, gratitude becomes my response to my brother and sister in each and every moment and each and every interaction, no matter what my ego says they are doing. And so no matter what my ego tells me or demands of me, in each and every moment, I only see my brother and sister as God sees them. And in doing so, I become the light of the world that God created me to be. And then people will say, oh, what? How do you have so much peace in regards to the situation? How do you have so much joy? Because they know, deep down inside, they know that peace of mind and joy belongs also to them. Because what is that peace of mind and joy? That's God's inheritance. God is love. And God's inheritance is all the expressions and aspects of that love. peace, joy, forgiveness, compassion, kindness, grace, mercy. Those are all God's inheritance. Those are all yours if you want them. But you have to let go of your judgments to enjoy your inheritance. And so let us
To make a
practice.
space. We need to make a space because we are too busy with the other side of the ego, which is the judgment, the resentments, the negativity, all these feelings of resistance and an attack and defensive. I guess it can keep going on and on and on. The moment that, as you say, we shift in perception, becomes all the other abundant. It's a lot. It's so many things. The good, the giving, the receiving. The being forgiving, nice, beautiful, good, hermoso, muy lindo. I love it. Yeah, we can manifest love, and it could be ongoing and forever in that side, but still with a human that we still, we react and sense with our senses. But the more we know, the more we practice, it's going to become more natural. At least it's becoming natural to me to identify when I'm not in my good mode, in my best. I go like, something has changed here. That's an advance, a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Able to identify, my energy has shifted, and I don't like it. I need to release, I need to forgive here. Yeah.
And I can, like the course says, I can choose once again. Choose once again. Paragraph 6, sentence 4. Through him, through God, you learn how to forgive the self that you think you made and let it disappear. Okay, so your brother or sister is God's creation. They're perfect exactly as they are. Who you made is imperfect. Who you think they are is imperfect. But who they truly are is perfection. And so you have to forgive your misperception of them. You have to set yourself free. All right, would somebody like to read 7 and 8? Or any other questions or comments before we move on?
I'll read it if you want me to.
Go ahead, Wendy. 7 and 8.
Each unforgiving mind presents you with an opportunity to teach your own how to forgive itself. Each
Amen.
one waits release from hell through you and turns to you imploringly for heaven here and now. It has no hope, but you become its hope. And as its hope, do you become your own. The unforgiving mind must learn through your forgiveness that it has been saved from hell. And as you teach salvation, you will learn. Yet all your teaching and your learning will be not of you, but of the teacher who was given you to show the way to you. Today we practice learning to forgive. If you are willing, you can learn today to take the key to happiness and use it on your own behalf. We will devote 10 minutes in the morning and at night, another 10, to learning how to give forgiveness and receive forgiveness too.
Thank you. Anybody want the key to happiness?
I do.
Yes. Give me the key, I can make copies.
All right. Okay. Each unforgiving mind presents you with the opportunity to teach your own how to forgive yourself. Okay? Each person out there who is representing the unforgiving mind, okay, is offering you the opportunity. Here, I'm triggering you right now. But what's really happening? I'm offering you the opportunity to choose forgiveness instead of unforgiveness. And thus, I'm giving you the opportunity to choose heaven instead of hell. That's what your brother and sister is doing for you in each and interaction. They're giving you the opportunity to practice choosing heaven over hell. They're giving you the opportunity to practice choosing compassion instead of condemnation, peace instead of anger, joy instead of resentment. That's what they're doing for you in each interaction. If you start to learn what your brother or sister is actually offering you in each and every moment, what possible reaction other than gratitude would you have for them? They are showing you the way out of hell and back to heaven. And they're giving you the doorway. The doorway is forgiveness and this lesson. Forgiveness is right there. It's a doorway to peace and joy. Why should you carry your past onto the now and block that whole understanding? And say, no, my brother's not worthy of forgiveness right now because I choose to carry the past and I choose to remember that I had to forgive him 1,000 times before. What did Jesus say? Forgive them. How many times, Lord? 70? No, 70 times 7.
7.
You know, forgive them as many times as they offer you the opportunity to forgive them. Why? Because those times he or she is offering you the opportunity to remember that in each and every moment, you can have peace. And all you have to do is forgive them. Forgive your brother in the moment. See them only as God would see them. Isn't that the point? Is to try and be in this world as a reflection of our Creator? Isn't that why we're here in physical form? To be love in physical form, to help our brothers and sisters remember who they truly are, and they're helping us remember who we truly are by offering them our forgiveness, by healing our own misperceptions, so that we can think in alignment with the mind of God, where we belong. And that's the only way you're ever going to feel fulfilled in life. If you're doing what God created you to do. Do and be who God created you to do and be, and you will have fulfillment. Or you can judge, you can condemn, you can be anxious, you can be fearful, you can be doubtful, you can be worried, you can be hateful. And you will never have what you truly desire and deserve as God's child in creation, the peace and joy of God. And so, yes, heaven is always just one choice away. No matter the drama that the ego paints, heaven is just a choice away. Return to the now. Return to the present moment. Let go of the past. It's gone. It's forever gone, unless you bring it to the present. Past is gone. The future is only in your imagination. It's always in your imagination, forever in your imagination. It's never here, the future. Only the now truly exists. And so forgive the past. Place the future in God's hands and come back to the present moment, where the peace and joy of God forever resides and forever resides within you. Just a simple and gentle choice away. Become who God created you to be, the light of the world. That's what he created us all to be, for each other. And so there's nothing easier than being who you were created to be, no matter what the ego says. When the ego says, no, it's going to be difficult for me to forgive my brother again. No. The easiest thing for you to do is to be who you were created by God to be, which is love. And forgiveness is an expression of that love. And all you have to do is be in the now and offer that to your brother and sister, so you can experience heaven on earth instead of hell. Comments or questions before we move on?
I have one just from
Yes.
that first sentence. Each unforgiving mind presents you with an opportunity to teach your own how to So if it ended with the word forgive, that sentence would have made perfect sense to me. But because it ends with itself, I'm asking if the forgiveness that we forgive our own mind for is just for condemning other people. Is that what that means?
It could mean that, yes. Each unforgiving mind presents you with the opportunity to teach your own how to forgive itself. Okay.
Well, what do you think it means if you don't think it means
Yeah,
forgive
yeah.
itself for its own condemnation?
No. Forgive yourself for your own misperception of your brother or sister.
Oh.
And so remember, your brother or sister, who are they? In reality, in truth, who are they? In truth, they can
They're
only
us.
be
Part of me.
sorry?
They're
An
us.
An extension of me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're us.
All that is true. But in reality, they can only be who God created them to be. Okay, so they can only be love in reality. Okay, so when we judge them as something other than love, in sentence number one, we have to heal our own misperception of what we're seeing. We're seeing them as something other than love because we're viewing the world through the ego's lens. So we have to correct our misperception, put the ego's lens down, put on God's lens, and see only the truth in them as true.
I like the idea of changing the lenses. Take a lens. Come on, choose a better lens. Now, okay. No. This is dark. This is the ego
Yeah.
one. Wait,
Yeah, that's it. That's the
this
ego
is the
one.
one. Oh, okay. I can see shiny stars, little angels around, even smells like incense. Beautiful. Yeah, because this came from an area where there were incense. Look, it's different. Oh my God. It's like holistic. Thank you for, because it's something that will remind me. Change the lens,
Change the lens.
how we see it, yeah, and perceiving things and experiences.
Paragraph 7, sentence 2. Each one awaits release from hell through you and turns you imploringly for heaven, here and now. It has no hope, but you become its hope. And as its hope, do you become your own. The unforgiving mind must learn through your forgiveness that it has been saved from hell. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Saving your brothers and sisters from hell, from the hellish mindset. If you're too uncomfortable with that word, hell, the hellish mindset.
I found one way to get unstuck. I'm sorry, James. Did you want to
Yeah,
finish?
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I get stuck quite a lot, with like Isabella with her brother, and I think everybody knows who I get stuck with. But the one thing my sister taught me, and she had gone to Unity like 30 years ago, and she told me this, that she did this and it worked for her. And my aunt told me the same thing, who's never at Course in Miracles or Unity. And what they do, and that I also now do, because it's pretty much the only thing that will get me unstuck if I can get myself there, is whoever is making you feel crazy and resentful and angry, and you just can't find a way out of that, you just send them love. You wish for them every good thing. You wish for them every good thing. And I actually do not find that hard to do for my daughter, no matter how angry I am with her, because I do wish her every good thing. And I want her to be happy and I want her to be healthy. But when you're angry at somebody, sometimes it's hard to generate feelings, loving feelings. But I recently have just been like imagining her bathed in light or whatever, if we're having a conflict, and I was, beside myself with upset over an incident that happened. And, my friend died a couple of weeks ago. It's I'm at a weak point. I don't know what to say. I'm at a weak point. I need, not to be treated poorly right now. And so it hits me even harder than maybe if I was in a good place mentally. Do you know what I'm saying? When you're feeling depleted anyway because of other things, it can be really hard to keep up with the practice in the same way you can when you're feeling pretty good about things. But I did find that doing that broke the spell. I did it all the way to work. It was like 30 minutes of driving when I just focused on that, just focused on sending the love, focused on, those images, those visualizations of her being bathed in light. And I was able to be okay after that and just, release it. So I recommend that for anybody who gets stuck. It sounds like it's hard. I don't know why forgiving is harder, but that was easier to do as a way to step in that direction.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and like you
Um,
said, like you said before, if you can't do it, then invite God or the Holy Spirit to do it for you. But if you can do it, it's great. You know.
And our kids are teachers. They sense very quickly how we are when we are talking to them, or I guess if we are praying same way because we are so connected. As we, it's intimate because we are very close. We lived with them, so they get to know. They sense. And I remember one friend was telling me the other day how hard it was to connect with her daughter. That she was not answering her calls. That when they talk, she will be very like quickly, okay, mom, bye. And she said, I was writing, I don't know, she's not answering my emails and stuff. What about you say just, because she was like, she was my best friend. When she was young, she was my best friend. I said, don't you miss your best friend? She said, yeah, I miss her. I said, why don't you just say that? Hey, I miss you. I miss my best friend. And she did that. And after when she said that, I miss you, I miss my best friend, that's just like that. The daughter replied to that, I miss you too, mom. It was completely different shift, everything else after that. It was not like, oh, why are you not answering to me? I've been sending you so many, nothing. It was just after that, like unfolded things between both of them. Because that's what she told me, Isabel, that's what happened. Another one was saying same way, as unable to talk to her because she got skin cancer and the mom is in between everything about skin rejuvenation and how to boost your beauty and please protect yourself from the sun, and which is a good thing. She's a physician, she's doing good things for people, helping people get younger and looking better. And the daughter got cancer in the skin, and she didn't want her mom to see her, to talk to her, so many things. And she wanted to address the situation because the daughter started so much into organic, into healthy, so much that she got into that breaking her. She said organs, because organs need other stuff too. And when it's too healthy, there is no way. It's just too skinny. She was so worried, or she was crying, and then I said, "Why don't we pray? And can I put this prayer in my group and chaplains?" And she was, yes, please do so. And we started praying, and then an hour later she texts me. She said, Isabel, oh my God, because I sent her what the prayers were to her, to my friend. And she was like, oh my God. In an hour later, she said, I was able to speak with her for long, like the longest time. My God, thank you so much for the prayers. She shifted because I was talking to her. Imagine her, that she's nice, that she's being receptive, she's open. Her heart is like, it's embracing you too, because you are her mom and you've been so helpful, so helpful to her and to her kids and stuff. And just send her love. Don't you worry about what's going on, and then don't see her that much in the dark, and just see the love, see the light on her. I mean, the prayers were so powerful, I think. And then she called me like an hour later saying, my God, I think that my longest talk, Isabel, in so much, in months, like almost a year without talking to her daughter. So prayers are powerful. I'm not saying it was me, all the glory to God, the same thing like you say, James, the glory to God. But it was a group of, praying people to help her. And she being receptive to that, as well as help, connect. It's like that. The ignition went like that. It was so nice. Yes. I wanted to share that.
Nice. Very
Mhm.
nice. Very nice. Any other comments or questions?
Well, I have one more comment, but it's
Go ahead.
kind of
Yeah.
sassy, a little
Go ahead.
sarcastic, which is whenever Isabel says our children are our greatest teachers, I'm like, sometimes I feel like I've had a pretty good education at this point, and I would like a gap year. That is what I would like to say.
You would like to do that?
I would like a gap year. I think I've been very well educated by my child every single day, and I would like a gap year from the education, not from my child, just from the education part. The triggering. I don't want to be triggered. Can you give me a little time without it, is what I'm saying. I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you're doing great. Sometimes, sometimes our kids are so ungrateful. It takes time. Yeah, sometimes I go with my daughter to school, and then talk, she's quiet, not talking to me at all the way to school. I go, how are you day? Good. You sleep good? Yes. And she's on the phone. And then sometimes I go, with my hand, I had to like to her leg. Hey, you're looking great. Gonna have a nice day, right? Today? She was like, yes, ma'am. She leaves. I love you. I love you too. That's it. Sometimes they don't want to talk.
I'll take that with an
awesome.
I love you at the end. Give me that any day of the week. I don't care what she does if she ends it with I love you. Please.
I don't
You're
know.
the luckiest mother in this room then.
Okay, well, I do lunch and I put her in the napkin. Sometimes, a little heart. Like when they are kids and send them to kindergarten with a little dot, a little chocolate, a little something. So I was like, oh, this is the last year of high school. I want to do a little, once in a while, a little something. So on the napkin, sometimes I paint a red heart. I say, I love you, enjoy your day. And then she sends me a picture of the napkin sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm doing a little bit extra because it is the last year of high school. I want you to remember that I was, doing my best. I don't know. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. I'm telling you. Yeah, and the other day she says, Mom, no, that lunch you sent me was not good. Didn't like it. Another time she may go like, yeah, I did enjoy. So yes, it's not always a good day. Sometimes they don't want to talk.
That's beautiful. Okay. Paragraph 9 and 10, would somebody like to read? All right, I'll go ahead and read number 9 and 10. The unforgiving mind does not believe that giving and receiving are the same. Yet we will try to learn today that they are one through practicing forgiveness towards one whom you think as an enemy and one whom you consider as a friend. And as you learn to see them both as one, you will extend the lesson to yourself and see that their escape included yours. Paragraph 10. Begin the longer practice periods by thinking of someone you do not like, or seems to irritate you, or to cause regret in you if you should meet him. One who is actively despised or merely tried to overlook. It does not matter what the form of your anger takes. You probably have chosen him already. He will do. And so the idea here is just to think about a person that you're holding inside yourself with something other than love. And it could be anybody from the past. Anybody from the past that you're holding inside you with something other than love. And then just keep him in your mind and try to offer him what this lesson is trying to offer you. That forgiveness, that key to happiness. And so like Wendy was saying, she can do that with her daughter. Think about beautiful thoughts about her daughter. And if she can do that with her daughter and we're all one, then she's got the possibility of doing that with somebody else who might be a little bit, the ego says might be a little bit harder to forgive. Because the ego is always about levels, because it tries to keep you at its level. So this person is very hard to forgive. This person is a little bit easier, and this person is a little bit easier. So you can forgive this person, but you can't forgive this person or this person. So the ego always tries to catch you with somebody. But now you have to remember that we're all one. We're all worthy of the forgiveness that God offers all of us. And so find that person in your heart or in your mind that is living inside of you without love. And then practice trying to offer that person that love, that compassion, that mercy, that grace. And as you do so, you heal yourself. And so by offering them the forgiveness, you heal yourself. Paragraph 9, sentence 1. The unforgiving mind does not believe that giving and receiving are the same. And so when you give them your forgiveness, you heal yourself, and you're both free. You're both set free. Like Isabel just said, they prayed for this person so that the communication lines can open up so they can talk. They prayed. They thought healing thoughts about that person, and the way opened up.
James, I
And
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is my question. So I found another bypass, but I don't know if this is an acceptable bypass. My
Okay.
bypass is this. You could tell the worst people that I could imagine in the world. I don't know them personally, just people that I hold a lot of resentment for the actions they've done, let's say, right? Like terrorists. I can wish anybody peace, that they feel peace, that they find peace. I don't have a problem doing that. But the reason I don't have a problem wishing people perfect peace is because I feel like if they felt that peace, they wouldn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that is if that is, if you have to forgive and love and wish people good things only on behalf of just to do it without having that that mindset, that the reason why I can find it easy to do that is because I think it will change damaging behavior. I guess like having a contingency like that, is that the wrong way to?
No, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine. Like I think we said once before in class, I think Christina brought it up first, was about seeing somebody as the younger self, as a little baby who wasn't polluted by the world yet. See that child self. So that terrorist was a child once, and that terrorist wasn't polluted by the world yet. And so we see who God created. And so we see the beauty in that person who's now a terrorist, that child innocent self.
Yeah.
And we try to look to that instead of the delusion that he's bought into, the stories that he's bought into, the stories that he's been programmed with. And so yeah, that's a perfectly fine way of coming to a place of peace.
All right.
All right. Any other comments or questions before we finish up?
Yes, I want to add something.
Yes.
James, going back to the beginning of the paragraph, what you were saying about forgiveness and so on it's been incredible. I really needed to hear that. So thank you for it. And your explanation was just perfect. It really cleared my mind and my heart out of many old feelings that were there, even though that we know, we truly deep inside of us, we know that we act out of fear, and there is two main emotions. One is fear and the other one is love. But it was a great reminder. So thank you for that. And then the other one is listening to Wendy and this last recommendation that you just gave her, that Christina gave us, which is excellent. Seeing that person being a kid is great. It's great. It really resonates with me since I since I first heard it from her. But now I wanted to share this with you guys. It's been very helpful for me. And it is the emotions, the two basic emotions. You act out of fear or you act out of love. And if you were to see that person in fear, we can all understand how fear would react. And it helps me. It helps me a lot whenever I see someone doing something that it doesn't it doesn't agree with my integrity or with my way of seeing life. I try to remember that his acting or her acting is out of fear, and I can see then myself in that person and understand them better. I wish I could remember more often, but then again, we are here to learn. So if this is helpful for anyone, it really helps me. Whenever I see it, this person is acting out of fear, I can understand them, and then I can share my love with them. And thank you guys. Great class. Great, great, great class. I really needed to hear everything that I had heard tonight. I appreciate you guys a lot. And there's a lot of love and respect for each and every one of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nori. I needed to hear what you just said about the love and fear. And once you can recognize that it's out of fear, you can start to feel love. I needed to hear that.
Yeah. Wendy, you're doing great, Wendy. Please remember that. Always give yourself credit. And you too, Isabel, and every mother out there needs to give credit to their own self. You guys are amazing. You guys are my heroes that get that cape on every single day. Because dealing with dealing with kids is not an easy thing. 'Cause you guys are my heroes. So thank you for sharing all your experiences.
Thank you, Nori. You made my night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, would somebody like to read 11, 12, and 13 to finish up? All right, then I shall. I'm in the now.
We like your voice, James.
All right. Now, close your eyes and see him. This is the person who you're holding on to resentment. Now, close your eyes and see him in your mind. And look at him a while. Here, you want to close your eyes when you think doing this. Try to perceive some light in him somewhere. A little gleam which you have never noticed before. Try to find some little spark of brightness shining through the ugly picture that you hold of him or her. Look at this picture till you see a light somewhere within it. And then try to let this light extend until it covers him or her and makes the picture beautiful and good. Paragraph 12. Look at this changed perception for a while and turn your mind to one you call a friend. Try to transfer the light you learned to see around your former quote-unquote enemy to your friend. Perceive him now as more than friend to you. For in that light, his holiness shows you your Savior, saved and saving, healed and whole. Paragraph 13. Then let him offer you the light you see in him. Let your quote-unquote enemy and friend unite in blessing you with what you gave. Now are you one with them and they with you? Now have you been forgiven by yourself? Do not forget throughout the day the role forgiveness plays in bringing happiness to every unforgiving mind, with yours among them. Every hour, tell yourself, forgiveness is the key to happiness. I will awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin, and know I am the perfect Son of God. End of lesson 121. And so, yes, whenever that person pops up in your mind that you're holding on to with something other than love, start to focus, try to see a little bit of light in them. Try to see that child inside of them. Try to see that innocence inside of them. And remember that innocence is who they truly are. And then make the light, the truth in them brighter and brighter, and encompassing more and more of that person, until that person who you once held in resentment now is held by your light and your love. And as you do that, you, along with him, are healed. You, along with him, return to heaven on earth. You, along with him, become whole and complete. And it was just by your decision to bring light into a dark place within yourself, within your heart or within your mind. And by doing so, you brought light to yourself and to your brother and sister. And now this brother and sister who lives inside of you now lives in peace and in joy and in light. And now he lives in heaven with you because you decided that he was worthy of God's inheritance, that he was worthy of happiness and peace. And because we're all one, if you remember that your brother and sister are worthy of that joy and peace, then that's teaching you that you too are worthy of joy and peace. And so thank you, brother and sister, for helping you see that you can change darkness into light. Any darkness you can change into light. Any pain you can change into peace by simply choosing to see the innocence in that person instead of the story that they've bought into or that you bought into about them. See only who God created. See that child. See that innocence. And in doing so, you become innocent. You are set free from your judgments and resentment and pain. Any final comments or questions before we close?
Just to say thank you. This was a beautiful class, James.
I wanted to say thank you so much as well, and forgive me if sometimes my ego talks louder than my spirit, but in reality, it's and we're growing, and what Nori was saying and Wendy, what we see that the child inside of people that trigger us one way or another, but also see the child inside ourselves that it's the moments that we're critical or we are defending ourselves or going loud like me, sometimes I do. Sometimes it's my child that it's immature, is still wanting to, be seen, wanting to learn and be, I don't know, in a way that the ideal will be, or something that I will be, I don't know, at least in the more peaceful and loving. And I know I had a childhood that was not all the way that, we wanted, probably, I had my wounds and I remember painful moments. And but it's that's what I'm saying. I apologize, but I really value you, Wendy, and all these things that you do with your daughter. Nori, I really value you with the things that you're doing for yourself. I haven't heard today, Christina, because I was on the phone, but I imagine that the stories that she was exchanging with you. And I really love you. I appreciate you, and apologize for my ego. Sometimes it talks loud.
It's all right.
Thank you, James. Thank
All
you so
good.
much.
All right, folks. Thank you very much. A beautiful class. And let's all be a light in the world. Let's all use.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Christina's there.
Do you want me to show you where to do this thing? Are we still recording?